Hi students, in this class I am going to teach you S block elements. So right guys, which elements are known as S block elements? The elements in which if last electron, the elements in which if last electron enters, the elements in which if last electron enters S orbital or S subshell, S orbital or S subshell, then that elements are known as S block elements. The elements in which if their last electron enters S orbital or S subshell, then that elements are known as S block elements. So example for the S block elements, we can take sodium. So write sodium atomic number 11, electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6 and 3s1. Right? So now you see guys, this is the last electron. You see this one is present in the S orbital or S subshell. So now this element belongs to the S block. This one belongs to the S block elements. So like that, the elements in which the last electron enters S orbital or S subshell, then all the elements are placed in S block. Okay? So now right, now one more thing guys. So write S orbital which is represented with a single box, and you know p orbitals are represented with 3 boxes. So these are the p orbitals. Only one S orbital present, and you know p orbitals are 3 present. Okay. So now S orbital, in this S orbital only 2 electrons can be accommodated. Only 2 electrons can be accommodated in S block element. In S orbital. If you take the p orbital, in p orbital maximum 3 electrons are accommodated, maximum 6 electrons. So now from this data we can predict that in S block only 2 groups are present. In S block only 2 groups are present. They are first A group and second A group. Right? And next, in p orbitals, how many electrons we can keep maximum? We can keep 6 electrons. So you can say that in p block, maximum in p block number of groups should be 6. So they are from 3rd A to 8th A. 3rd A to 8th A. 6 groups are present. So 3rd A and next one 4th A. 5th A, 6th A, 7th A and last one 8th A. In p orbitals, maximum electrons 6 can be accommodated. So now in p block 6 groups must be present. But in case of S orbitals, only 2 electrons can be accommodated. That's why here in S block only 2 groups are present. They are first A group and second A group, and all the groups are represented with 2 types of the symbols, with Roman numbers and English alphabets, and next one with Arabic numbers like this 1, 2. First A group is also known as first group, and second A group is also known as second group. So right, every group is represented with both the symbols, Roman letter and English alphabets, and next one Arabic numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. In case of periods, they are represented with only numerical numbers. They are only represented with Arabic numbers. So now let us see what are the elements present in the first A group, second A group present in the S block. So right, you know guys, S block contains 2 groups. They are first A group and next one second A group. So now the elements present in the first A group: lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium and francium Fr. And elements present in the second A group: beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium and radium. So these are the elements present in the second A group. So the elements which are present in the first A group, they are known as alkali metals. Alkali metals. And the elements present in the second A group are known as alkali earth metals. Alkali earth metals. So right, why these are known as alkali metals? So right guys, these elements are available in the form of their oxides. In the form of their oxides, M2O. Guys, here M means first A group elements, either lithium or sodium or potassium, rubidium and up to francium, anyone. For example, you can take sodium, so Na2. So all the elements are available as their oxides. Okay, in the form of their oxides, they all are available. So now these oxides, when you treat with water, these oxides are treated with water, they form metal hydroxides. They form metal hydroxide. This Na2O, when it is treated with water, we can get here 2 moles of the NaOH. We can get here 2 moles of the NaOH, and which is alkaline in nature. So this sodium hydroxide or the metal hydroxides of the first A group, they are alkaline in nature, they are basic in nature and they are soluble in nature. So that's why these are known as alkali metals. And next one, alkali earth metals. So first of all the metals are present in the earth crust. That's why this code is there here. And next one, these are also available in the form of the metal oxides. General formula you can take MO. M means beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium and radium. For example, let me take CaO. All the metals present in the first A, second A group, they are available in the form of their metal oxides. Okay. So now, when these metal oxides are treated with water, we can get metal hydroxides. Here also we can get the metal hydroxides. The CaO, when it is treated with water, you can get here CaOH taken twice. So this is also a metal hydroxide. All the metal oxides of the second A group, when they are treated with water, you can get the metal hydroxides. So now these metal hydroxides are alkaline in nature. That's why these are also known as alkali earth metals. These are alkali metals and these are alkali earth metals. Okay. Next one, in first A group elements, potassium and sodium both, these two, potassium and sodium are more abundant elements. So these are more abundant elements. The availability of these elements very high, and rest of the elements availability is very low. They are low abundant elements. Now, if you take the francium, so francium is a radioactive element, and this one has number of isotopes. Among them, one stable isotope is francium 223. Francium 223. And next one, its half-life time is only 21 minutes. But this one only a little bit stable isotope when you compare the other isotopes of the francium. Okay. And next one, in the second A group elements, calcium is the fifth most abundant element. Calcium is the fifth most abundant element, and this magnesium is the sixth most abundant element. And remaining elements are present in low abundance. So their availability is low comparing with magnesium and next one calcium. Next, the general electronic configuration of the first A group elements NS1 and second A group elements NS2. In the outermost shell of the every element present in the first A group, you have one electron in their s orbital. In case of the second A group, 2 electrons present in their s orbital. Here n means period number. Okay. So now from these two we can write the general configuration. General electronic configuration for the s block like this. NS1 to 2. So now this is the general electronic configuration for the s block. S block general electronic configuration NS1 to 2. Right? Okay, so next guys, right, lithium ion Li plus and beryllium ion Be plus 2, and next one here Mg forms bivalent cation Mg plus 2 and aluminum forms trivalent cation Al plus 3. So now here lithium ion shows similar properties with the Mg plus 2 and beryllium plus 2 shows similar properties with the Al plus 3. So here Li plus and Mg plus, these two are similar in their properties, and beryllium plus 2 and Al plus 3, these two are similar in their properties, right? So now you see guys, this is element present in the first A group and its ionic form showing similar property with the second element in its ionic form present in the next group. And here also you see this one showing similar properties with the second element to its next group. So this property is known as diagonal relationship. Diagonal relationship. If an element or an ion shows similar properties with the second element ion of the next group, then that property is known as diagonal relationship. So here Li plus and Mg plus 2 similar in their properties, and Be plus 2 and Al plus 3 are similar in their properties. So right guys, this is a first A group element even though its ionic form. So this one properties are similar with the second element present in the second A group, and this is the second A group element ion, and this one shows similar properties with the second element or Al plus 3 present in the third A group. So this property is known as diagonal relationship. So why here these elements, these ions show similar properties? So because they have same size of the atom. They have same ionic radius, not atoms, these are in the ionic form. So their ionic radius is very close together, and here also these two ions radius is very close together. If you take the Al plus 3, its ionic radius is 116 picometers, and if you take the Mg plus 2, its ionic radius is 114 picometers. So now you see these two radius values are very close together, very close. And next one here, beryllium. So beryllium radius, ionic radius is 86 picometers. 86 picometers, and in case of Al plus 3, 76 picometers. So due to this reason, so these ionic forms present in the different groups shows similar properties, which is known as diagonal relationship. And next one guys, ions like sodium plus and potassium plus, and next one calcium plus 2 and Mg plus 2. So these ions are present in the body fluids. These ions are present in the body fluids, and these are very important and these are very useful in the maintenance of the ions balancing. So these are very useful in the maintenance of the ions balancing. So these are very useful in the maintenance of ions balancing. And next one, they are very useful in the nerve impulse conduction. Nerve impulse conduction. So right guys, this is about some introduction regarding the first S block elements. They are first A and next one second A group elements. Now let me start a discussion of the first A group elements. So right guys, first A group elements. So now you know the first A group elements are lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, and francium also, that is radioactive element, you know that. So right guys, so now here regarding these elements we need to discuss three things majorly. First one, their periodic trends. First one, periodic trends, and second one, physical properties, and third one, chemical properties. So these things we need to discuss regarding these elements. So first, let me start with the periodic trends. So right guys. So in periodic trends, first one we need to discuss, that is electronic configuration. Electronic configuration. So right guys, lithium atomic number is 3, and the next one, this one takes helium configuration and 2s1. And next one, sodium. Sodium atomic number is 11, and this one takes neon configuration and 3s1. And potassium atomic number is 19. So here it takes argon configuration 4s1 and rubidium. So rubidium atomic number you can get by adding magic number 18 to this 19. 18, 19. So you can get here 37. 37 is the atomic number of the rubidium, and this one takes krypton configuration 5s1. And the next one, so here by adding another 18 to the atomic number of the 37, you can get the cesium atomic number. So that is 55. So you can get 55 atomic number of the cesium, and it takes xenon configuration 6s1, and the next one francium. So now here to get its atomic number, you need to add 32 to the atomic number of the cesium. So then here you can get 87. 87 is the atomic number of the francium. So now here this one takes radon configuration 7s1. So right guys, if you know the atomic number of the first element in a group, then after that easy to know the atomic numbers of the rest of the elements when you know the magic numbers between two periods. So now here to get the atomic number of the sodium, you need to add 8 to the atomic number of the lithium. 8 plus 3, 11. Now to get the atomic number of the potassium, we need to add one more 8 to the atomic number of the sodium. That is 8 plus 11, 19. So next, to get the atomic number of the next element, we need to add magic number 18. 18 to the atomic number of the potassium. 18 plus 19, that is 37. So now here also we need to add 18, and here we need to add 32. So these are known as magic figures or magic numbers. So by adding numbers like this, you can get the respective elements atomic numbers. Okay guys, however, this is the electronic configuration of the first A group elements. So from the outermost shell configuration, we can write the general electronics configuration as NS1. In all the elements of the first A group, in their outermost shell, only one electron present. So now before that one electron, there is a core of the noble gas. Core of noble gas present. So now after losing their electrons, their outermost electron, they can attain noble gas configuration. As a result, they will be very stable. So now when they are in their atomic form, they have one electron in their valency shell. Now these are the unstable because in their valency shell only one electron present. So now to attain the stability, to attain the noble gas configuration, they need to lose their electrons. After losing their electron, they can take the noble gas configuration and they will be stable. For example, you take sodium electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6 and 3s1. So now after losing this electron, sodium is very stable. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6 and 3s0. Electron is removed here. So when electron is removed, if there is any electrons in the orbitals, then you no need to write that one. So one electron is removed here, so it carries positive charge, because here this one has 11 protons, 11 electrons. Equal number of the opposite charges are there, so this is neutral. But here one electron is removed. After removing of the electrons, number of protons 11 and number of electrons how many? 10 only. So then what about the net charge? One extra proton is present. So proton means that is positive charge. So after removing of an electron, every atom carries unit positive charge. So now we are comparing with Na plus is more stable, right? So now guys, here they are very reactive elements. They are ready to lose their outermost electrons. After losing of their outermost electrons, they attain noble gas configuration. Due to this reason, these are highly reactive. And next one, they never found in free state. They never found in free state. So they always found in the combined state. They combine with other elements. Okay. And next one, they always form monovalent cations. Monovalent cations. They won't form bivalent or trivalent. So they will attain stability after losing of one electron. That's why they can form always monovalent cation. So here Na forms Na plus. This is the monovalent cation like the lithium. After removing of this electron, this one forms Li plus cation. And here potassium forms K plus. Rubidium forms Rb plus, Cs plus and francium plus. So these elements after losing one electron, they are highly stable. That's why these are very reactive. They are ready to lose their electrons. Due to this reason, they are highly reactive. They never found in free state. They are found in combined state. And next one, they form monovalent cations. This is about electronic configuration. And the next one, the next periodic trend is atomic radius. The next periodic trend is atomic radius or atomic radius and ionic radius. Atomic radius, ionic radius. So right guys, atomic radius means the distance between the nucleus and the outermost shell of an atom is known as atomic radius. The distance between the nucleus and outermost shell of an atom is known as atomic radius. So now you see guys here, from the lithium to francium, number of atomic number increases, and the next one, number of shells also increases. In case of lithium, so in this lithium only 2 shells present, and sodium contains 3 shells. So like that. So this francium contains 7 shells. So now due to the increase in shell number, the size of the atoms also increases in the first A group from top to bottom. So here you can write the order also. Lithium atomic radius less than the sodium, less than potassium, less than rubidium, less than cesium, less than francium. So you better to ignore the francium. This is highly unstable element. So up to cesium better to consider always. So right guys, this is the increasing order of the atomic radius of the elements present in the first A group. Next one, what about the ionic radius? For ionic radius also same order follows. Lithium has small size than sodium plus, lithium plus has small size than sodium plus, and followed by K plus, rubidium plus and cesium plus. This is the atomic radius and this is the ionic radius order. So now when you compare both atomic radius, this is atomic radius and this is the ionic radius. So now when you compare the atomic radius and ionic radius of a particular element of the first A group, then atomic radius is greater than the ionic radius. If you take sodium from this and you take sodium plus from this one, so now between these two, sodium has more size. The radius of the sodium is greater than the radius of the Na+. So always if an atom contains positive charge, then the effective nuclear charge increases in that ion, and that one has more ability to attract the electrons towards itself. As a result, the size of the ion decreases. So here, when an atom contains positive charge, then that one has small radius comparing with its atomic form. Okay, so this is about atomic radius, guys. And the next periodic trend is ionization energy. So the next periodic trend is ionization energy. Ionization energy is also known as ionization enthalpy or ionization potential. Number of names are there. So ionization energy means what? So now before giving definition of the ionization energy, so let me illustrate that. So right, this is an atom, guys, and in this, so for example, 3 shells are present, and which is the nucleus. Now here inside the inner shells electrons present, and in this one also electrons present, and in its outer shell only one electron present. Now this atom is present in the gaseous state. So now let us see the situation of the electron present in the outermost shell. So right, this electron either weakly or strongly attracted by the nucleus. So there is some attractive forces on this electron by the nucleus. Nucleus attracts this electron towards itself. So there is some interaction between nucleus and next one electron, because nucleus contains positive charge and this one contains negative charge. Opposite things always attract together, right? So now guys, so now to remove this electron from its outermost shell, we need to use some amount of energy here. Why we have to use energy? Because this is attracted by the nucleus. We need to overcome that attraction. In order to overcome that attraction, we need to supply the energy. When the energy is supplied, electron is removed from the outermost shell. Now here, how much amount of energy is required to remove this electron? That energy is known as ionization energy or ionization enthalpy. So now let me define like this, guys. The amount of energy required to remove the electron present in the outermost shell of a gaseous atom is known as ionization energy. So the amount of energy required, how much amount of energy is required to remove the electron present in the outermost shell of a gaseous atom is known as ionization energy. Okay, guys. So now this ionization energy, which is inversely proportional to the atomic radius, So it means if atomic radius increases, then its ionization energy decreases. So let me explain how it is. So now let me consider two atoms with a small size and a large size. So this is one atom with a small size, and this is an atom with a large size. So now here inner shells also present like this, and here only there is one inner shell, and this is the nucleus, this one is the nucleus. So now here one electron present, here also one electron present. Now you see, guys, the distance between nucleus and electron in both the atoms. Now here distance is less and here distance is more. So now when there is less distance between the nucleus and electron, this electron is strongly attracted by the nucleus. But in this case distance is more, so here the attraction of the nucleus on this electron little bit poor. So now in first case there is more nuclear charge, or there is more attraction on this electron, but in this case this electron is poorly attracted by the nucleus. So now here to remove this electron we need to use maximum energy, because this is strongly attracted by the nucleus. But this one, guys, so here this one is poorly attracted by the nucleus due to the large distance. now by using minimum amount of energy, we can easily remove the electron. So right here, the removal of electron is very easy, but here the removal of electron is very difficult. In difficulty situation, we need to use more amount of the energy. So here, in each situation, it is by using less amount of energy we can remove the electron. Okay. So now you can say that from lithium to francium, atomic size increases, atomic radius increases. This is the atomic radius order. Atomic radius order. So now what about the ionization energy order? It is exactly reverse of the atomic radius order. Okay, because both are inversely proportional together. So now I am writing here ionization energy order, that is exactly opposite to this one. Lithium contains more atomic radius, more ionization energy than sodium, potassium, rubidium, and next one cesium. So this is the ionization energy order of the first A group elements. Ionization energy, atomic radius, both are inversely proportional to each other. Okay, and the next let us see hydration energy or hydration enthalpy. Hydration energy and next one hydration enthalpy. So both names are used, guys. So right, hydration energy means what here? Hydration means what? Okay. So hydration energy means when one mole of ions are added to the water, then some amount of energy is liberated. That energy is known as hydration energy. So right here, the amount of energy liberated, some energy liberated when one mole of ions are mixed with water. One mole of ions, when they undergoes hydration, some amount of energy is liberated. So that is known as hydration energy. For example, guys, here you take water and here we add one mole of any ion. Maybe you add lithium ions here. So then here from this some amount of energy is liberated. That liberated energy is known as hydration energy. So now, guys, this hydration energy also inversely proportional to the atomic radius. Okay, from top to bottom, atomic radius increases, so hydration energy decreases. So let us try to understand. So why here both are inversely proportional together. So first let me take lithium ion from the lithium element, and here let me take cesium ion from cesium plus element. Okay, so now you know lithium ion contains small size comparing with the cesium ion. So lithium ion has positive charge and cesium ion also has positive charge. Okay, guys, now between these two, when you compare the magnitude of the charge, here there is effective nuclear charge because of small size. Because of the small size here, the positive charge is very effective. The nuclear charge is very effective, and here you see due to the large size, so the scope of the effect of the positive charge decreases here. Okay, so now here more effective nuclear charge present, here less effective positive charge or nuclear charge present. So right, guys, when these two ions are placed in water, what happens? The negative part of the water coordinates with the positive ions. Now let us try to understand. So now this is the structure of the water, guys. So here negative part means oxygen. Oxygen always carries partial positive charge, and here hydrogen has partial positive charge. Oxygen has partial negative charge because which is a more electronegative atom, and bond pairs moves towards the oxygen. As a result, this one gains partial negative charge and electrons are moving away from the hydrogens. Hydrogen carries positive charge. Now these two ions, when placed in water, immediately they are coordinated by the water molecules, the negative end of the water molecules. Now here more number of water molecules. This ion is coordinated by more number of the water molecules like this. So right guys, in this case when it is placed in water, this one is coordinated by less number of water molecules. Less number of water molecules. This one is coordinated by less number of water molecules. So right, why here more number of water molecules? This ion is coordinated by more number of water molecules, and why this one is coordinated by the less number of water molecules? Due to their effective nuclear charge. Here, this positive charge attracts the more number of the negative parts of the water. Because small size, this one is able to attract the negative part of the water here. But in this case, see guys, size is very large, so the capacity to attract the O minus or the partial negative charge present on the oxygen here very poor. So here the coordination also, this one is coordinated by less number of the water molecules. Here effective nuclear charge present due to the small size, so this is coordinated by more number of water molecules. When one ion is coordinated by more number of water molecules, then more amount of energy is liberated here. More amount of energy is liberated. Now in this case, this is coordinated by the few water molecules. Here energy also less amount of energy is liberated. In this case, more amount of energy is liberated. So right guys, this is about the hydration. So when one mole of ions are added to the water, some amount of energy is liberated. That energy is known as hydration energy, or the amount of energy liberated during the hydration of 1 mole of ions is known as hydration energy. So now ion which one has small size, that one shows more hydration energy value comparing to the ion with the more size. So now order we can write like this. Lithium ion contains more hydration energy than sodium plus, and sodium plus contains more ionization energy than potassium ion, and next one rubidium plus and cesium plus. So this is the order of the hydration energy of the lithium ion to cesium ion. Right guys, periodic trends are over, and next one, second one, physical properties of the first A group elements. Okay, so first one guys, the elements present in the first A group, they are light, soft, silvery, white metals. So right, so these elements are lighter, and next one, they are soft in nature, even though we can cut them by using knife. And next one, these are present in silvery white color. So these are the light, soft, silvery white metals, white color metals. And next one guys, they contain low density. So right, so now here in each period, we have 7 periods in the periodic table. Each period is started with the first A group elements only. If you take the second period, that is started with the lithium. If you take the third period, started with sodium. If you take the fourth one, starts with the potassium. So like that, every period it starts with the first A group elements. Now you know guys, every period is ended with the noble gases. Now from left to right in the periodic table, the size of the atoms decreases. It means they have more size or more volume. When volume increases, what about their density? Density decreases, because density is inversely proportional to the volume. So now, for example, if you take the second period, in the second period elements are lithium, next one lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, and next one neon. The size of lithium is heavier comparing to the size of the neon. From the left to right in periods, the size of the atoms decreases. So in a particular period, only this element contains more size, more volume. So due to the more volume and more size, density exhibited by these elements low. So they have low density. And the next one, let me write the density order, guys. Here from top to bottom, in case of this group, top to bottom, the mass increases. That's why here from lithium to cesium, density also increases. Lithium has low density than sodium. Sodium has more density than potassium. Potassium has low density than rubidium and cesium. So now you see, guys, there is some abnormality here. Sodium has more density than potassium because potassium has more volume. So now I will calculate the density for sodium and potassium. So now you know, guys, density formula equals to, so now this is for sodium. Sodium density equal to, you know, formula mass by volume. Mass of the sodium is 23 and volume is 23.8. So this is equals to 0.97. Density of sodium 0.97. And in case of potassium density equals to its mass. Mass is 39 and volume is 43. So when you calculate this, we can get here approximately 0.87. So due to the more volume here, so here sodium has more density or potassium has less density than sodium. So right, this is about density criteria. And the next one, third one, melting and boiling points. Melting and boiling points. So right, guys, these all are the metals, you know that. So these all are the metals and they all are in solid state. So you know, guys, in metals, between the metallic atoms, metallic bond is present. In case of metals, if you take one metal, in that metal atoms present, between the metal atoms there exists a bond. That bond is known as metallic bond. Okay, so now in these metals, in every element, only one valence electron present. So due to the presence of only one valence electron, the metallic bond between the metallic atoms of the first A group elements are very weak. The metallic bond between the two atoms in these groups, if you take the sodium metal, in sodium metal, between two sodium atoms, metallic bond is present. That bond is formed here due to there only one valence electron. So here, due to the presence of the only one valence electrons, that metallic bond is very weak. When the metallic bond or any bonds are weak, then their melting and boiling points also very low. So due to the weak metallic bonding in the first A group elements, they show low melting and next one boiling points. They show low melting and boiling points. So right. Next one, flame test. Guys. So here the elements of the first A group elements we can identify through the flame test, because in flame they can generate or they can produce different colors. From the colors we can identify the elements of the first A group elements. So now in the flame test, lithium gives crimson red color, crimson red. And next one, sodium gives yellow color and potassium gives violet color and rubidium gives violet red. and cesium gives blue color. So right guys, here why these all the elements can produce the color. So when these all are placed in flame or when these all are heated, what happens? The electrons present in the ground state by absorbing the heat undergoes excited state. Now it won't retain for long time in the excited state. Again this one de-excites, means this one comes down. Again the electron present in the excited state comes down. When it is coming down, this one can generate the or this one can emit the some radiation. Due to the release of this radiation here, they can show the various types of the colors. Okay, so this is about the physical properties of the first A group elements, guys. So next we need to discuss the chemical properties of the first A group elements.